way we come into this world leaves a blueprint in our life and in our soul. The way we come into this world reveals our society, reflects and affects our culture. Doulas are here to receive, with an open heart, a grounded body and a centered mind, a new life in the way it deserves to be welcomed into this world.
Well, Michel Audin, the known doctor, and Frédéric Leboyer, another known doctor, and many other birth people who are not so known because the system hasn't made them known. But they have taught us that what we meet when we enter the world may form the way we see the world. So if it's violence we meet, we may consider that and expect it to be violent. And if it's respect we meet, we may expect it to be respectful. And I think expectation is a great thing because it already gives you a sense of who you are in the world as you stand. So a child that expects respect, expects to be talked to as they are important and they are unique, they will treat others like that, and they will hold themselves in a way that may not be as easy to harm them.
I think that you cannot be a doula, a true doula, and not be doula to everyone. So this a non-judgmental support that we are taught to give to women, you cannot just switch it on and switch it off. I cannot. So it is much easier to go through life and seeing that every human being has its own difficulties, and you can provide a non-judgmental support.
Yeah, I think we teach a lot to the people who birth, the people who are born, and the people who are around the birth, in the inner circle, the birth workers, midwives, doulas, doctors, nurses, pediatricians. The circle goes outer and outer. And the outer circle may be the ones who hear about this inner circle and the birth. And I'm sure we teach them a lot from the process of how it happens. It can be so transcending. It can be spiritual. It can be a religious experience for some people. And it can be a mundane day at the office for some others. I don't want to live my life as days at the office. So I think it's our choice, up to a certain extent, how we form the system, even within a system that's hard to fight, let's say. I know a lot of wonderful doctors, midwives, who are medical professionals, and they're bringing a very unique, personal touch in that, let's say, impersonal system.
The move from home to hospital, the presence of a doctor as opposed to a midwife, that has changed and shifted dramatically the way birth unfolds. Doctors from the beginning, most of them were male. That shifted the dynamic. I always say that as a doula, that really, truly, anybody in the room at a birth is an intervention. Just their simple presence in that room is an intervention. And we hope and pray that our presence in any room that we are in, that life is unfolding, new life is unfolding. We hope and pray that our influence, our simple presence is a good thing and not a bad thing. I think when we put took birth from the home and behind closed doors. And we weren't then surrounded by people we loved. We weren't then surrounded by people we knew and trusted and were connected to, and then with complete strangers. And I mean, in the beginning, when it was really the new, birth should take place in a hospital, it was horrendous, horrific what took place behind those closed doors.
Changes in childbirth depend where you live, but on the whole, childbirth has steadily become more medicalised, which in many ways has made it safer for mother and baby. However, this over-medicalisation has brought its own problems for them both.
In the 70s, our induction rate in this country was 70%, and we're heading for that again.
Here in Croatia, we do not have a legal home birth, so 99% of the births are in hospitals, and unfortunately, it is not really a women-friendly system of birthing, and the difficulty is to try to present this work, this emotional work, as something valuable.
In my knowledge, the trend at the moment globally seems to be a medicalization and an institutionalization of many activities, and birth is one of these activities. Death is another such event. I know of midwives who are forced to become more and more part of a more medical system. I know in some countries, like the Netherlands, who have been known to support a more natural birth and natural ways, that they're moving into more hospitalization of processes. They're closing smaller clinics. So it seems to me that socially there is a tendency for people to lose their individuality and become part of a system. Losing your individuality, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It's nice to be part of a collective, but I think it's important to know what we want, and when we're forced to fit into a system, we can't really know what we want, or we cannot make what we want a reality. So the doula, in my mind, can come there to, again, fill this gap. So even in a very medical birth, even in the case of a family that either has no choice or by choice choose to have a certain system support their journey, a doula can be there to support that emotional side so that it's not forgotten. Because I think for me the biggest issue and danger of medicalization is that everything becomes the same, that we're numbers and we are fitting in boxes. It's like when babies are born, they're all put in their incubators and they're like baby number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. The same with the people who birth 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's like 6 of them in one room. So having a doula around could be an answer to that feeling that I'm still a unique person that needs a unique support around me, and I find that invaluable.
In the beginnings, sometimes I was received by the medical professional with doubts, questions, or even hostility. The doula profession has its boundaries. For instance, we cannot interfere with the caregiver's decisions. And sometimes I was witness of obstetric violence, and this was really very hard not to be able to help the woman or the baby. And I think it is the biggest challenge I sometimes faced.
My main challenges as a doula are supporting medical interventions that I can't really understand, or that I think they are maybe a bit early, and not to transmit to the parents that I don't support 100% the decision made by the staff.
Because what seems so obvious to us about trying to reduce all the stress around labour and the management, it seems so obvious. But the medics can't see it, the obstetricians can't see it, and some of the midwives can see it, and they're just as frustrated as we are. Nobody will, I have a thing about babies in hats. Out comes the baby, on goes a hat. I don't know whether you've seen that problem in Europe, but you very rarely see a photograph of a brand new baby without a hat on it. And it's incredibly important for the mother to be able to smell a baby and watch all the hormones and everything that's happening. And they've destroyed that one as well.
Done studies on the oxytocin levels of everybody in the room. When a new life arrives, the oxytocin levels are through the roof, not only for the mother, not only for the partner, but for everybody, the doula, the doctor, the midwife, everybody in the room. If the hormones are left to work their magic the way they should, then the oxytocin levels are very, very, just very high. And when you deprive a partner of those bonding hormones from the beginning, then I think damage can be done. However, obviously in many countries that has changed.
But unfortunately, not all the hospitals do practice in the way it is recommended, for instance, by the International Childbirth Initiative.
Their approach to the risk, their approach to the fact that lots of babies die who maybe shouldn't have, is to become more and more and more and more medicalized rather than the other way. I don't know, is it the patriarchy dictating? Lots of female obstetricians, so it's the matriarchy as well.
And the premise, I think, for many is everybody wants the mother and the baby to be safe and to be physically okay, and to everybody be healthy at the end of the birth. I don't think that it's that the emotional side of things is considered. People can walk out of birth very, very damaged emotionally. They're fine, they're healthy, baby's healthy, but emotionally traumatized, and that can be it can be so. It can take years to change and to shift.
Since I have become a doula, I could observe that the mothers especially are more and more informed, but it's not only positive. Sometimes they forget to listen to their body, to the changes of their body, and pregnancy becomes a brain thing, a rational thing, and it's not anymore a belly or heart thing.
So much fear. Yes, maybe in the beginning of time, people were worried about and heard stories about the discomfort that is involved in birth. But when power is taken away from lioness women who are giving birth, and the situation is managed and manipulated to unfold in a more medicalized way, then it can be disastrous on so many levels.
Still, we need more improvement, I would say. Although there are many dedicated doctors and midwives who do their job well or very well.
To change that birth story from the outside as opposed to from the inside, I think is very, very dangerous. I think many people hire doulas because they think they want to have a natural birth, and that's what a doula can help with. But I've been contacted by many, many, many families who don't necessarily want a natural birth, but what they want is to be able to make the choices that they want to make that are right for them. And that changes things. That changes everything. Whether it's a cesarean, a planned, decided upon cesarean, or whether it's a beautiful, amazing water birth, or whether it's I would like an epidural. I don't want to feel the pain. Penny Simpkins said something at my training that has always stuck with me. She said she had a client come to her and say, "Penny, I really want the epidural." And she said, "Why? Tell me why. I'm listening to you." And she said that she's married to somebody who beats her, and she wants to live one day of her life without pain. And Penny said, "I'll be the first one out the door getting the epidural, getting the anesthesiologist." It's so important to listen to our clients, to hear them and to meet them where they are. No matter what story they bring with them, we hear them and we help them to create the birth of their dreams, not ours.
For me, childbirth is the ultimate trip to the unknown and succeeding it.
It has the power to transform a woman into a mother who changes with every new baby, and it also transforms a man into a father.
For me, childbirth is what I gave my working life to.
For me, childbirth is a transformation, like a Big Bang, universe transformation.
Giving birth is a rite of passage.
Beautiful. Expansion.
Is empowerment.
A message for the future, for me, would be unity. Not to think, but to actually live and experience unity with humans and with other living sources, with trees, with the earth, with plant, with weather. I think that's one certain way that we will not do any harm, because I will not harm what is part of me. Sometimes people do, but so yeah, unity with ourselves as well, so that we truly can care.
By myself, I'm just a drop, but together we are making a difference.
My friend left me alone, and his life, like wrestling, is announcing another fighter. And I'm thinking, what should I do? Should I make a face like I don't know anything? Or should I pretend that I'm running away? Or should I take everything on the teeth? When I'm thinking about you, yes, my thoughts are melting like candles on your chest. I would like to